Every season of Survivor is a story. There are main characters, sidekicks, comic reliefs, and villains. A good season of Survivor tells a compelling story. It will grip you and have you rooting for someone and against someone else. You will want to tune in episode after episode to see what happens next until it all finishes with a hopefully satisfying conclusion. Each story that we look at together will go through one character's journey from beginning to end, from the time that they are introduced until they inevitably get their torch snuffed or win the game. We will look at every character moment and strategic move to determine whether they were a hero or a villain and whether they were good or bad strategists. And with that, welcome to Once Upon an Island. For reference, we will only be observing what the TV show is showing us and what stories being told through the show. No future seasons will be mentioned, as the story and characters here have no idea about what happens in those future seasons. All character moments and strategic moves are interpreted with the mindset of what the story is trying to tell us. And before we start, I want to thank you all for watching what I make and ultimately supporting what I do here with liking, commenting, and subscribing. It means a lot and makes me financially able to make more and more great in-depth content for you all. If you want to help make this channel grow and continue making more in-depth analysis videos, then consider joining me on Patreon. For only a few bucks a month, you can pick who I make videos about, watch all of this channel's content early, and chat with other fans of the show, and even get exclusive videos every month. With that, let's jump into another epic story.
39 days, 18 people, 1 survivor.
Rory Freeman, a 35-year-old housing case manager from Iowa, was a castaway on Survivor's 9th season, Survivor Vanuatu. By the time he finished playing, Survivor had once again seen one of their biggest characters who stole every scene he was in, along with having some of the most iconic lines of this season. So, what did Rory do to make himself such a large figure on Survivor Vanuatu? Let's find out. This season opens up in a very unique way as Jeff tells everyone that they are about to take place in a local ritual and that they need to remember that this is not their homeland and they need to be respectful of what is about to happen, kind of setting the stage for something weird, undoubtedly.
It's going to impact each of you differently. At times you may find it beautiful. At times you may be repulsed. You are in a foreign country. Remember that. This is their culture. We are only visitors.
Upon arriving on the beach, the natives immediately separate the men from the women, and our protagonist Rory tells us that he notices what is taking place before him.
Nobody jabbed a spear at me in any way, shape, or form, which I took it as, a black man coming on the island is not particularly unwelcome.
After being split up by the natives, the men are given a local drink called kava, which really jacks up how they feel, especially Rory, as he explains that this literally makes all parts of his body go numb.
It's like mud, basically. You drink it, your lips go numb, and your tongue goes numb, and your throat goes numb.
The women, on the other hand, feel completely disrespected by the ceremony, as the men are given clear favoritism before being told to go their separate ways. On their way to trekking to their camp in the dark, Rory says that, hey, we have no idea where we're going, and we're passing up all these side trails along the way, and who knows if those are the way to the camp.
We really need to come up with some sort of game plan, because this walking our path is bull. 9 of us walking in a group like a bunch of ladies ain't helping.
While he is right, he comes across as quite annoyed with everyone, as if they know what to do about everything, and Brooke says Rory barking out orders is just dumb.
Rory, I don't think he's gonna fit in. There's one in every bunch, you know what I mean? To see like Rory already barking out orders, what is he thinking?
They do eventually find their camp walking the way that they walk, and at the immunity challenge, the men lose due to Chris's failures on the balance beam. But back at camp, it seems like Rory is in the majority alliance, as Sarge and Chris talk about the 5 older guys, which includes Rory, teaming up to fend off the 4 younger guys who have made an obvious bond and are clearly together.
If we're gonna stay in this, the old people, the only way we're gonna get $1 million, one of us, is if we get rid of the young people.
However, Brady, who is one of the younger guys, seems to think that Rory is the weak link on the tribe, and leading into tribal, he says he doesn't think Rory really fits in at all.
I think maybe some people feel like Rory's maybe not putting out as much group effort as some of the other guys, and the group right now is where it's all at.
Interestingly enough, at tribal, Jeff asks Rory how he thinks he is fitting in with his tribe, and Rory says, hey, I'm fitting in quite well.
Rory, how are you fitting in with this group?
I fit in fabulously well, and I love my partners here.
The votes are revealed, and in a 5-3-1 vote, Rory receiving the 1 vote, Brooke is voted out.
Brooke, tribe has spoken.
First impressions are a little tough to come by in this episode since so much is crammed into 42 minutes that clearly should have been spread out over a longer episode, but from what we have seen so far, Rory isn't afraid to speak his mind, Brady isn't a fan of his, but he did get himself into the older men's alliance, which has the numbers. He is also the lone black person on this all newbie cast, which is strange, but that did make him favored by the natives. We don't have a lot to go on right now in regards to his possible longevity in the game, so let's see how this story develops. Episode 2 begins and the men lose the reward challenge, which really sucks because it would have netted them flint to make fire, and they still haven't been able to make that. When the women do win the challenge, Mia does this fun little dance, and back at camp, Rory is not happy about this. In fact, he's super salty and seems to take it a bit personal by blowing up on Sarge that Mia would even dare to dance when they win. And with him blowing up on Sarge, it doesn't make much sense since Sarge didn't do anything wrong.
This little dance. What the hell? What is that? I don't think that we would have intentionally shoved somebody's nose into it. You know, that was nonsense. That was classless. But if she was a man, would you have taken that, Sarge? No.
We then see Sarge tell us his honest thoughts on Rory, which mainly consist of him saying that Rory just rubs him the wrong way, and this is combined with some ominous music in the background.
I've been contemplating over this one person it's striking me wrong as rain. But to sit there and walk right here and grumble for hours over something, it just, I don't know, it strikes me funny.
At the immunity challenge, everyone is blindfolded and both tribes have one of their tribe members be a caller who is basically their eyes. Sarge is the eyes for the men, and he's doing a fairly good job at that. This is his day job after all. However, Rory wants to help out while blindfolded, so he yells out their tribe name to try and help guide the blindfolded people back to him since he's where they need to be. But instead, this just infinitely annoys Sarge instead and is a distraction.
Stay! Stay, JP! Stay! Hey, you! Hey, stop! Stop! You are messing me up!
However, the men do pull off the crucial immunity win along with finally getting their flint to make fire back at camp. Episode 3 kicks off with the men's tribe hard at work on improving their shelter, and while they do so, Sarge wonders where the heck is Rory at? We then cut to Rory casually collecting some fruit.
Hey, where's Rory? Is he okay?
Look at this.
Vitamin C.
We then see Sarge confront Rory about disappearing for hours at a time and also taking tools with him when he does so, and Rory basically says he doesn't take orders too well since he is a grown man.
Sarge wants to dictate when people take a crap, when people take a bath. I'm a grown-ass man, and I don't take orders real well.
It seems a lot like Sarge and Rory have some fundamental differences on how they approach things. While we see the other men following Sarge's leadership, Rory is more of a free spirit who wants to do his own thing, which would be fine if he weren't playing a game of social strategy. As it turns out, this episode has a twist where both tribes are going to tribal, which is a first for Survivor, and as a result, the younger men, being down 5-3, are trying to find any crack they can in the older men and decide to target Rory since Sarge and him famously are not best friends who get ice cream together. However, Chris tells Sarge that sure enough, eventually Rory can go, but now is not his time, so let's leave him alone.
Rory?
Yeah. I'm like,
But dude, I understand what you're saying, and we'll deal with it, but this just isn't the time.
At Tribal Council, the older men stick together as they vote out John P. in a 5-3 vote, where Rory receives the other 3 votes.
JP, tribe has spoken. It's time for you to go.
Episode 4 starts with Rory remaining cool, calm, and collected that he received 3 votes at the last tribal, but he knows he doesn't have to worry about anything since he is insulated by the alliance of 5.
I took 3 votes last night in tribal council, and yet that doesn't really bother me a whole lot.
John K tells us that he doesn't get it, and he's right when he says that. Why are these older fat guys picking off what he perceives to be the stronger men with better personalities? John K doesn't understand Survivor, while the Fab 5, including Rory, do.
The good young guys that have great personalities and are good athletes are all gone. Why are we letting fat dudes run the show?
just doesn't make any sense to me.
Later on, we hear from Bubba about how much he misses his family back home, and Rory tells him if he wants to make it far in this game, he's gonna have to focus on where he is right now and not think about how much he misses his family all of the time. Bubba appreciates this from Rory and says that Rory is a guy who's just misunderstood by most of his tribe.
That's gonna affect people's perceptions of you.
I know, like I'm trying to be a loner. You're right.
I appreciate it.
But Bubba then contrasts that by telling us just how annoyed he is by Rory and Sarge with their constant bickering and fighting about how to do everything.
Sarge and Rory. It's just an ongoing barrage of bickering, and I'm tired of it.
Man, don't use clean water clean no doggone fish.
Sarge, you are so difficult to keep happy, man.
Brady is desperate and tries to work up Sarge to get mad at Rory, which we already know is not hard to do. Brady explicitly says he's just doing this because he wants to shake things up, though while pitching to get rid of Rory to Sarge as to why they should vote out Rory right now, he makes a backwards argument by saying Rory is not a threat, aka he is a goat you can drag to the end of the game, which is actually a great reason to keep Rory around and not at all a reason to get rid of him.
Who do you think is going to consider Rory a threat?
Nobody.
Exactly. He's not going to have anybody vote against him, so who do you think's going to be there in the end?
At the immunity challenge, the men blow it hard because they pick Rory as their eyes. Not that Rory did a bad job as the eyes, but they choose not to listen to him when he gives them directions. They are disorganized, and it shows how Rory is not respected overall by his tribe.
I want the skull.
See that?
No.
With that brown light color. Okay. Guys need to work together. You're never going to solve this.
At Tribal Council, Jeff asked Rory about this lack of respect he received at the challenge, and Rory says it makes him straight up scared.
I am the leading vote getter at this point, Jeff, and I'm scared as hell right now, as a matter of fact.
The Fab Five do stick together again and vote out Brady 6-1, leaving only one younger man left, and Rory getting that one rogue vote from Brady.
Brady, tribe has spoken.
Episode 5 begins, and the men are having a silly dispute. Bubba apparently is getting the premier sleeping spot by the fire at night, and this is causing a pretty stupid tiff that does have Bubba saying my favorite line of the whole season.
Well, I mean, you're in the house, so I mean, what's it to you?
But people are upset that you sleep in the same spot every night.
Well, they can build a bridge and get over it.
But Rory steps in and is the peacemaker to get Bubba to stop fighting with the other guys over something so minor.
You were last night, just move one spot over, it's no big deal.
I won't even sleep around the fire.
Don't do that, brother.
At the next challenge, Jeff tells everyone,
Everybody else, drop your buffs.
they are switching things up, and Rory is in a bad spot as he joins the new Yasser tribe, which consists of him, Bubba, and 5 other women. Not only that, but they are definitely the weaker challenge tribe by far. This may be an impossible situation to get out of. Back at camp, it is clear as day that these women are rock solid, as led by Amy, who wants to make sure the women do not make friends with Rory or Bubba, even going so far as to say, no, we will not teach them the awesome way to open coconuts that we learned because I don't want us bonding with them.
You want to show them how to do the coconut? Hey, did y'all see how? Why what? Because I think it's kind of cool.
What I got irritated with was I saw kind of a little bit of our bond disappear. The girls were so excited to show them everything.
So at the immunity challenge, Bubba tries to tell Chris, hey, we're screwed over here. Throw the challenge, but in not so many words.
Chris, think about the merge.
Unfortunately for Bubba, but fortunately for Rory, Amy overhears this and they lose the immunity challenge, so back at camp, she makes Bubba target number 1, and even Rory sees how obvious this all is.
Tribal Council's coming up, and Bubba and I are both, it's very, very apparent that one of the two of us has got to go.
Before Tribal Council, Bubba and Rory pray and hug it out as they know that one of them is going home tonight no matter what.
Thank you, Lord, for everything that you've done for us. Thank you for all the opportunities that you've given to us, and thank you for the beautiful days I'm about to watch.
At Tribal Council, Bubba throws his vote towards Rory and is voted out, and Rory is now all by himself on Yasser.
Bubba, tribe has spoken. Time for you to go.
Episode 6 starts with Rory implementing a new strategy that we haven't seen from anyone in the past. He purposefully starts a fight at camp with the intention of making them feel bad so they will welcome him into their tribe.
Y'all need to leave me alone right now, because y'all are showing me something that I'm not real impressed with.
My thing is to come off as the upset, angry brother
who is welcome back into the fold.
The next morning, he makes an apology and tries to guilt them into accepting him into their fold, and he thinks it works, but it is impossible to confirm that he is right since not one other person says anything that backs up his statement. Honestly, this just seems like a dumb move in execution that did have some merit on paper, but yeah, it's just dumb in execution.
My apologies to all of you for the horrible, horrible things that I said to you in my minds last night.
My speech was so cheesy that I couldn't even believe I was saying it myself.
Unfortunately for Rory, Yasser loses immunity again and he is on the chopping block. However, in a shocking turn of events, Rory seems to be safe because Lisa is annoying Amy. Lisa is saying things to trigger Amy that implies she wants Amy gone, and the Ice Queen ain't having that.
I'm gonna go with you. We're gonna go with you.
I can go really quick. Why? Do we need 3 people to go?
I'd like to go just to see where you're going and what you're doing in case, you know.
That's pretty funny, Lisa. You want to go with me just in case I'm not here for you to go get it. That's funny.
Now, Rory doesn't know that Lisa has shot herself in the foot, but he thinks his guilt plan has worked, and he says,
Oh my God. Oh my God. It's a knockout for the kid.
For some reason, he thinks he broke the alliance of women, but really, they broke themselves. But good on him to not do anything to make himself target numero uno.
And nobody gave me any odds to break this alliance of women. And I have broken it.
At Tribal Council, Lisa is voted out 4-2, with Rory receiving the 2 votes.
Lisa, tribe has spoken.
Episode 7 has us seeing Rory praying and simply being thankful for everything, really starting the episode in a good mood.
Usually the first thing that I do is I bow down and I pray. And today in particular, I got a lot of things to be thankful for.
However, this good mood doesn't last too long as he talks to Amy about not wanting to go home before Eliza, because Eliza seems to be not the heart of a worker and she kind of annoys everyone at the camp. But Amy is dead set on an all-women's alliance going to the end, as it has never happened before in Survivor.
The biggest thing for all the women was no women's alliance has stayed together through this game ever.
Now, to be fair, all men have never reached the end as well, but that's besides the point. Anyways, Amy basically says he is out of luck, so Rory cusses at her and gets upset, which she doesn't appreciate at all.
What do you mean, what about the guys back home? What do you mean? Then don't treat me like I'm some sort of lackey.
Now, Rory knows without a doubt he is next. It is time for his plan to end all plans. Initiate self-destruct mode. Initiating right now. Similar to Sandra Diaz-Twine after Rupert was voted out. He says he talked about this with his wife before coming on the island, though he never says that she agreed this was a good idea.
That's done a job on my head, so I've decided that I will go into self-destruct mode.
At the reward challenge, Yasser wins, and they get coffee along with pictures from home, which is very nice. Rory is very excited about all this, and Giddily points out the pictures of him and his family.
Me. My birthday. This is our first Halloween together.
They then get letters from home, and in a funny turn of events, his wife specifically says in his letter to not let his anger get the best of him and to react well to unfortunate events that he has no control over, aka don't burn down the camp if things aren't going your way. Rory is touched, and it seems like this flips his attitude around.
My wife has impeccable timing because all of a sudden, that's the one thing that she mentions on the day that I say that is, Rory, you gotta watch your temper and think about things.
It is almost time for the immunity challenge, and Rory is all jacked up on coffee. He does a "let's get ready to rumble" impression, which is a lot of positive energy just coming from him.
I can only speak for myself, but I am at high rev already this morning. Perhaps it's the 3 cups of coffee that I've had.
Let's get ready to rumble!
I'm ready to run over there, quite frankly.
At the immunity challenge, Rory puts Yasser on his back and carries them as he almost single-handedly wins immunity for them and subsequently saves his own butt as well.
And he does! Yasser wins immunity!
Back at camp, Rory is still all hyped up after the challenge win, and he puts Amy as number 1 on his hit list. However, this has not gone unnoticed, as Amy says he has gotten far too cocky.
I know one thing for sure. Today I rocked Amy. I rocked the hell out of her world today.
Rory's gotten a little cocky with his winnings, as he well should. Otherwise, he'd be going home, you know?
Episode 8 brings with it a reemergence of annoyed Rory to the point where he channels his inner Sheehan by saying that all of Yasser is worthless and stupid.
What a worthless crew. What a completely worthless crew. Stupid people irritate the living hell out of me.
At the challenge, Jeff says,
Uh-oh. Drop your butts. You are now one tribe.
they are all now merged, but the guys find themselves down 6-4, so some work will need to be done to negate that advantage the women have. Rory says he is happy to be back with the guys, and Sarge even says, hey, all that fighting we did in the past, that's just water under the bridge. Let's move on together. He then tells Sarge and Chad that Amy has to go first because she is anti-men to the end.
Amy is the top dog over there, and Amy has had me squirming.
She's calling the shots.
Completely.
As it turns out, Chris, Sarge, and Chad got in good with Julie and Twyla when the tribe switched, and they feel solid about those two women voting with them, so they should have a 6-4 advantage over the old Yasser tribe, minus Rory, who is now in good with them.
Sarge and Chad say, our original alliance is still running. Are you still in? I'm just the cat who swallowed the canary right now.
But not too long later, it is revealed that this may not be the case, as Twyla and Julie tell Chad that they want Rory to go next and then Amy. These two are supposed to be on the men's side, and they are playing Chad as a fool.
Talking about having Roy go at night. Roy. We want to take Roy out.
Yeah.
But we want to take Roy out first and then Amy second.
Chris then works his butt off to save Rory, but Twyla will not commit to agreeing, as Julie has told her in a separate conversation that the men are playing her when they really aren't.
Rory's guaranteed to give us numbers. Now listen, little Twyla. And if we vote off Amy, that breaks the rest of the girls.
At Tribal Council, Rory has no idea what is about to happen, as Jeff asks him how he feels about the merge, and he says he feels like he has been given a second chance in this game.
I know for a fact that I've been given a second chance, because Vegas wouldn't have given me odds on making it out of the Yasser camp.
Rory is then voted out 6-4 and misses making the jury by one Tribal Council.
Rory, the tribe has spoken.
So let's break this down. How is Rory as a character? Amazing. He is a character with a lot of depth and a one-of-a-kind personality that we don't see a lot of in Survivor. He is amazing in confessionals and has these wild ideas that, despite seeming bad when he does them, do have some merit on paper, and that's what makes him so fascinating. You get a sense that he wants to be a good person by seeing how he prays, the pictures he shows us, his letter from his wife, and his friendship with Bubba. But when he feels scorned, watch out. Rory gets mad. Real mad. How Rory has not been brought back for another season of Survivor is criminal, as he is by far my favorite person on this season of Survivor. Out of 20 character moments shown on the show, 10 were heroic and 10 were villainous, making Rory Freeman a polarizing character on Survivor Vanuatu. Now, how is Rory as a strategist? Not great. When things didn't go his way, he got angry and he snapped, or he would decide to make game-ending decisions that thankfully his wife stopped him from doing with her letter to him. However, he was in a great spot before the tribe swap by being in the numbers and then doing just enough to not be target number one when the tribes do flip, while also saving his own butt with an immunity win when it was likely he was going home next. He was always on someone's mind to be voted out though, as he received votes at every single tribal council he attended. His feud with Sarge and seeming unwillingness to be a team player in the beginning of the game made him stand out in a negative light that undoubtedly gave him the trajectory of being a final tribal council GOAT if he were to make it that far. Out of 33 strategic moments shown on the show, 14 were smart and 19 were dumb, making Rory Freeman a dumb strategist on Survivor Vanuatu. Thanks for watching, and if you like the content you see here, then please consider supporting me and this channel on Patreon. Your financial support makes all this happen, so thank you, and thank you for watching.